Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a comparison, review, and wear test on these two hot items right here. So I have here the new Nars Light Reflecting Foundation versus the Charlotte Beautiful Skin Foundation. Now, you guys asked me to do this, so I was like, you know what, let me go ahead and sit down, show people some comparisons, you know, which one works better for who, all that good stuff. So that's exactly what we're gonna be getting into today. So if you wanna continue watching and see how these look side by side, then please go ahead and do so. Okay, so I'm gonna be comparing these. I'm not saying these are the same thing at all. They're just two very new foundations that happen to launch very closely, and I know a lot of people are trying to decide which one works better for them, which one should they get. So I'm gonna be here to show you guys how they look against each other, and then you guys can form your own opinion. I quickly want to say what I used to prep and prime. So I used my Summer Fridays Cloud Dew Gel Moisturizer. I love this stuff to really hydrate my skin. It is super cold outside, so my skin tends to just have some dry patches. I'm typically an oily skin person, but this works really well. It's oil-free, so it's just gonna really melt into your skin. And this jelly consistency for moisturizer is really good if you do have dehydrated skin and really want that hydration. Now, for my primer, I use e.l.f.'s new Power Grip Primer. The reason I'm using this primer is because I really want something that's gonna make sure that both of these foundations stick well. These are very lightweight formulas, and they are also a medium coverage. So you definitely have to build these up, which means that when you have a medium coverage, you wanna be more mindful that things can remove faster. So I want something that's gonna really allow these two to grip onto place. I use the same exact primer on both sides, so neither one has a upper advantage. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and start off with the Nars Light Reflecting Foundation. So this foundation retails for $49. It is a pricey foundation, and I did pick this up in the shade Stromboli M3. So this is a medium coverage, natural finish. This is good for redness, good for dark spots, and good for dullness and uneven texture. This is a makeup skincare hybrid, so it really focuses on giving your skin that nourishment that it needs, just giving a blurred and smoothed out effect, improving the skin's clarity over time, which is where that skincare hybrid comes in for this. So this is what it's looking like. I'm gonna be using a brush to apply this foundation. I'm just using my Real Techniques 200 brush, and I'm going to be applying the Nars on this side of the face. You guys can see how that is a medium coverage. You do want to build it up, but it does offer you a really pretty coverage result. It's not like completely like sheer or anything like that. I also do feel like this foundation applies the best with a brush. It looks good either or, but I just feel like if you want fuller coverage faster, a brush is definitely the way to go. Something that I did mention in my review is that this does have a little bit of a scent. It's very, very, very light. I said it in my other video, but it kind of smells like licorice. And it doesn't linger. It's just like when you first apply, like the brush is so close to my nose that I can smell the foundation. That's just the only time I smell it. So it doesn't linger, and it doesn't irritate my skin either. I did let the primer set on both sides of the face for about 5 to 6 minutes. So it had time to really lock into place. So we have here the Nars foundation. I'm just gonna be going in with one layer because it did a beautiful job of covering everything it needs to cover. You guys can see the difference between not having anything to having foundation on. Gives you great coverage. This does set to a normal finish. It just needs some time. It does take time to set. So just keep that in mind if you are looking into this. I don't think I need any more product because this is the area where I conceal, and I feel like that's kind of the only area that's a little bit more sheer, and I can just easily go in with concealer. But now let's do the side with the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation. Okay, so this is the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation. You guys can see the packaging and everything is very different. If you're somebody that likes something more practical, perhaps you like to take your foundations on the go and stuff like that, then you may like this packaging better, just like super easy, quick to just take with you. If you want something more like aesthetic, or you're only gonna be leaving this in your makeup space or like where your makeup is, then you may prefer this because this is glass. You guys know that Nars always does that. So these can break easily if you're not careful. But this is the foundation that I got. I have this in the shade 7 Neutral. This works best for my complexion. This foundation is selling out on Sephora. But this does retail for $44, so it is slightly cheaper than the Nars one. It is in that $40 price range, but I mean, this ends up being like 50 something dollars once you add tax. This ends up being like $45, $46 once you add tax. So that's just something to know, because I know some people, when they see that 50, they're like, nah, I'm good. So this one is $44, and I did pick up this in the shade 7 Neutral. Like I mentioned, I always tend to fall for that neutral undertone. Okay, so this is a 16-hour wear natural glow foundation. It has also a buildable medium coverage to hydrate, smooth, blur pores, and brighten the skin. So it's kind of similar in claims, but I do feel like this one emphasizes more on like the glowy finish than the one by Nars. I think this shade in 7 Neutral by Charlotte Tilbury kind of suits me a little bit better than the one by Nars. I feel like the Nars one is a little too yellow, and I feel like this one is more neutral, even though they both are that neutral undertone, but we shall see. So I'm using another 210 brush by Real Techniques, and I'm just going to begin blending this out into the skin. I do feel like this side gives me a little tiny bit less coverage than the one by Nars. It just really depends on kind of how you go in with the product. I also feel like this one gives me a much more prominent glow. I also feel like the Charlotte Tilbury foundation gives me more so of like a skin tint finish than the Nars foundation. I feel like the Nars foundation gives me more like foundation finish. This just looks like for like those light makeup days. Unless you have very perfected skin that's pretty evened out, then you'll definitely love it just as a foundation. But this one definitely does give you that glow. This one also takes a little bit of time to set. I feel like whenever you're working with a more buildable and like glowy finish foundation, it does take time to set. This one has already set a little bit more than this, but that's just something to note in case you guys are wondering. So I was able to cover what I needed to cover with both of them with one layer. Before I finish off the rest of my makeup, I do want to touch this and kind of see how it feels. So let's do the Nars side first, because that one has already had more time to set. It's a little bit sticky, and there is some transfer on the back of my hand. You guys can see that right there. Let's do the Charlotte Tilbury. This one's also sticky, and it does transfer. So they both transfer, but a lot of it tends to be because of the fact that they're medium coverage foundations. They're not like super full, and they're also not like a soft matte or a matte finish. They are more so hydrating, glowy foundations. I do feel like when I touch this side, more transferred off of the Charlotte Tilbury side than the Nars side. So I'm gonna go ahead and quickly finish off the rest of my makeup, and then I'm gonna come back and just show you guys how this is looking on the skin and give you guys my thoughts on it, and see kind of which one looks better, which one looks worse, and then we can begin this little wear test. Okay guys, so I finished my entire face of makeup. I will have all the details down below in the description box, so you guys can go ahead and check the items out of what I'm wearing. But this is the final look. We have on Nars, and then here we have on the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin. So I do have to say, Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin looks slightly dewier than the one by Nars. I did go ahead and use concealer. I used my Beauty Creations concealer on both eyes. I also did use my Rare Beauty powder to just set the under eyes where I tend to crease right there. I just went in and dusted some powder throughout those little creasing lines. I didn't apply the powder anywhere else, just right there. So what you're seeing on the rest of the skin is all literally just the skin. This is really pretty, but I just feel like the Nars gives me more so of like that skin-like finish that I don't worry that will get too dewy as opposed to the one by Charlotte Tilbury. But I definitely do feel like they both apply really nice in the sense of I'm not noticing any of them cling onto my texture or onto like my dry patches, because I do have some dry patches. They tend to be on the nose area and a little bit on the cheek area. I tend to get that from either my rosacea or also from just the super cold temperature outside, and I feel like both foundations are laying really nicely on top of my entire skin, so I really do appreciate that about this product. So I'm gonna go ahead and just carry on with the rest of my day. I'll come back at the end of the day to give you guys my final thoughts and what I think about these, comparing them side by side, if there's a big difference, if there's not, which one I would say is for who. So you definitely don't want to miss that because I'm going to give you guys all the tea. Okay guys, I am here with both foundations side by side. This side right here is the light reflecting foundation. You guys can see it looks very natural, very skin-like. It gives you really pretty coverage. It looks healthy, but it doesn't look too dewy. This is the side with the Charlotte Tilbury. And this one definitely does have a little bit more of a glow than the Nars side. I also feel like the Nars kind of like blurs out my imperfections, and the Charlotte Tilbury kind of enhances my imperfections, which you guys can see right here. What are your thoughts? Let me know. I'm gonna carry on with the rest of my day, and I'll see you guys later. I am back right now. It is midnight, and I am ready to give you guys my final thoughts on both of these new foundations. So let's talk about it. Okay, so on this side we have the new Nars foundation, and on this side we have the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation. You guys can definitely see that this foundation looks more dewy than this. Look at that shine right there, which definitely makes sense because this foundation does have more of a dewy finish, especially if you do have oily skin. It's gonna pick up dew much faster. If you have more so of just oily skin, I think the Nars will look much better. So this is what I'm thinking. If you're somebody that's looking for a dewy foundation, for something that's gonna look very natural and almost like a skin tint, or there's not much you need to cover, then I would recommend the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation, because I think you'll get that very like makeup, no makeup look with it. If you are somebody that wants a little bit more coverage and you want something that's gonna stay in place and not get as dewy, I think you will like the Nars Light Reflecting Foundation. So you guys can kind of see that. Also, if you're looking for more so of something that's going to give you like good skincare benefits, I think this will be really good because it does help with redness over time, and it just helps kind of have that good barrier between your skin and coming in contact with like environmental aggressors and stuff like that. So that's always a plus for sure. I feel like a lot of foundation is moving into like this skincare foundation hybrid mix that the Nars has offered. Of course, the only downside about this one is that it's pretty much $50, so it definitely is pricey. I mean, both of these are pricey, but this one's definitely pricier. I would say if you do have very oily skin, I probably wouldn't recommend either or if you're gonna spend that much money. You know what I'm saying? If you do have more so like combination to dry skin and you are looking for that glow by the end of the day, then I would say these are great for you. So those are just pretty much all my thoughts. They both look very pretty. I want to hear your thoughts. Which one do you think looks better? Which one do you think looks worse? Would you buy this or would you not buy this? Those are pretty much all my thoughts. I hope that this video was super helpful for you guys while deciding which one would work best for you. I love interacting with you, so I would love to hear your thoughts down below in the comment section. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Let's continue doing these type of comparison reviews for you guys. And I think that's all I have. I'm about to go back to sleep because I literally woke up from a nap, which is why I look like this. So I will see you guys very soon. Don't forget to stay safe, stay blessed, and stay beautiful. Bye, guys.